First thing I would do is make sure that you do right by people. And what I mean
Mm-hmm.
by that is I spent a career of trying to do right by folks and by kids and all the, my number of different stops. And unknowingly, you build a community of people. So first step is just do right. Be a good person, come to work every day, do right by, especially in schools, do right by children, and you're going to be surprised at people that help out. So first thing, obviously that's just something you have to do over your career is do right by folks and build that community. And then, hey, don't be afraid. First thing is don't be afraid to reach out. Like, I didn't know what to do. I called our county superintendent, Jim, what do I do? Like, I want to cancel school. And then he talked me through it. No, we postpone. Here's what you should do.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Brighter Together podcast. My name is Courtney, and my special guest today is Steve Rosa. Steve is the superintendent and principal at Pine Ridge Elementary School District in Albury, California. Steve, thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you for having me, Janet. I appreciate the opportunity to come on and have a chance to talk to you today.
Awesome. So tell me about what's going on in Pine Ridge Elementary.
Well, first of all, Pine Ridge is we're a TK8 public school in eastern Fresno County. It's on the way it's about 20 minutes away from Shaver Lake. It's a resort town up here in California that's in, Central California that we're very blessed to be near. Currently, I think just like every other school in California right now, we got Red Ribbon Week going on. So we have a lot of activities. Kids are really excited. We're working to get learning in as we still honor those traditions and a lot of the different things that the kids and community, because I have a lot of folks that like to volunteer and help out my boosters community. My boosters is typically made up of folks. Sorry.
That's all right.
Made up of folks that are sorry about that. Schools, so we got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Are made up of community members and people that have attended school here. I have a lot of legacy, attendees. So it's pretty cool to have grandparents, grandkids of people that came here. So, we're a real, it's kind of a family community. I know people say that a lot at schools, but when you got my teachers have their own children going here. So it's really flattering to have so many families not here.
Yeah. So Red Ribbon, what's the Red Ribbon?
Oh, Red Ribbon Week is, it's a drug awareness.
Drug awareness. I know pink. I know some of the other ones, but I'm like, what's red?
That's
I don't know what's red.
Thursdays are our pink, breast cancer awareness day. So we always dress up with pink. But yeah, this week it's, with parent conferences and just elementary school stuff. It's a lot of fun right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you guys have survived something that has really affected your students and your teachers and your staff and your families. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Back in September of 2020, the creek fire hit this area. At the time, I believe it was the largest fire in California at the time. I couldn't give you the exact acres, but it burnt for a while. Bad enough it closed our school. We were closed for approximately 3 to 4 weeks. I can't remember the exact time off the top of my head, but when it hit on Labor Day weekend. So
right after school had started.
Right. Oh, yeah. But we weren't in session yet because of COVID. So we were still doing
COVID.
learning. So, we went from distance learning to all of a sudden we're losing track of where our families are because the fire hit. And like I said, we had a text string going with my staff, and about 55% of my staff lost their home. So we had a lot of staff members that were hit independently, hit personally. And then our community, we have, the trees, stores, Crespin's, which is kind of a institution up here in this area, a 100-year general store that burnt down. Even like some of the historical landmarks, Shaver Lake Ranch, some of those different things that, people they come up and they want to see. Well, they're gone now.
Right.
They were gone overnight. Many of those places are rebuilding. It's taken some time, but it was real difficult. I remember that first week, me going out and finding where everybody was, and we had people scattered all over the place. Southern California, within a few hours of here, they were all, housed. So we had to go through with locating, and I will say this: the county office at the time and the Fresno County superintendent. Schools at the time was Jim Yovino, and Jim was so helpful. I mean, he said he came to us. Because it's school, we still have accountability items. We still have stuff. And I remember the support I got from the county office. Jim said, Steve, your job is to find your kids and your family and what they need. I will take care of the accountability and those
Wow.
types of things as far as school stuff, reports, plans. And it was awesome. Like I was spoiled because it was people doing the work for me,
Right.
checking in with me. Give us direction. And then they'd run off and do it, which then allowed me and my staff to have time to find our families and find out what they needed. Uh, After the fire, they had us housed at a church down in Fresno, down in the Clovis area. And we had, it was awesome to see the resilience of people donating and coming in and coming together and seeing our community drive through and get the things they need. It was just amazing to see, the resilience and people already starting. I mean, we're talking, as soon as they could get back into their homes, that area, they're clearing the area. They're starting to, look to rebuild permits, all the different things. It started, a lot of families happen real quick,
Yeah.
I mean, but also the difficulty is it's during COVID. So you don't
Mm.
have the same supply chain as you did
Yeah.
other times. Like I remember
Yeah.
there was a family here had to drive to Utah to go get their fifth wheel to live in while they rebuilt.
Wow.
I mean, we got people that lived in fifth wheels for a few years as they rebuilt.
Yeah, yeah. I was telling you a little bit before about the tornadoes that I went through in 1980, and it was FEMA trailers. Back in 1980, they had this whole cornfield that
Yeah,
was filled with FEMA trailers of people that had lost houses, and it was almost 5 years before that last FEMA trailer was taken away because that some people it just took them that long before they
we saw
could.
people. We
Yeah.
saw people rebuilding now.
5 years. It's been, yeah, because I mean, you're talking about September of 20, and it's October 29th of 2025. So 5 years and 1 month, and people are still rebuilding. Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of folks were, unfortunately, they were underinsured.
Yeah.
That's a problem that people here now, they're struggling to get insurance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I guess State Farm just, up here for a while just dropped a number of folks because, I guess for them it was no longer worth the risk.
Mm-hmm. Which is sad.
However, I mean, this is a lot of the locals give me a hard time now. They're like, well, what's going to burn? The fuel's gone. So to hear
Yeah.
even there, that's what they say. I mean,
Oh
I'm like,
my.
whoa, but they're just so
Wow.
like, they're like, what's left? Let's
Wow.
pick up. It's time to get back to it. I mean, this is what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing down in the district we feed into, Sierra Unified, a K-12 unified district. Me and the superintendent, we we got
Heidi
together elbow to
Torix?
elbow.
Is it
Huh?
was it Heidi Torix at the time? Was
No,
that
Sierra Unified at the time, it was, Alan. I don't remember Alan's last name. He is now over in, let me see if I have
because
Alan.
Sierra Unified School District is now Heidi Torix, right?
No, it is now, the one here in California.
Oh,
It's, Dr. Lori Grace.
okay. Okay. We must be talking about different.
I
Oh,
believe
I'm
we are.
thinking of Eastern Sierra Unified School District. That's what I'm
Mhm.
thinking of, Eastern Sierra, because I
Yeah,
know
they're
her
north.
really well. Yeah,
Yeah, they're
different
north and
place.
up to the up east a little bit. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
There,
yeah.
I recognize the school district. No, but Sierra Unified, which is so it's K-12
Yep. Okay. Mhm.
district here in Prather. So Alan and I, we elbowed up, started finding all our kids, really pooled our resources and time together, so that because it's one community is how we looked at it. So what are the things we can do
Yeah.
that are community wide? But also, I'm very fortunate to have some really good relationships because a number of my superintendent colleagues called me, reached out, people that I had, stops along the way. You work with
Yeah.
different
Yeah. Yeah.
people.
Yeah. Mhm.
Hey, what do you need, Steve? What do you need? How are you doing? You okay? I had one of them, Rusty and Chuck Freitas. Rusty, he used to be superintendent out at Firebaugh. He's retired and hope he's enjoying himself now. But what do you need? And they showed up and they put a dinner on for us. They came out and just to get everybody together. I
Yeah.
mean, we fed like 300 people and they
Yeah.
charged me nothing. No,
Wow.
guys, because I just got it. It's the end of the month. I need to donate a little bit of money. So
Yeah.
they come out, took care of people, brought everything, and the community appreciated it. 'Cause that was the first time that it was probably about a few 2-3 weeks after the fire. That was the first time we were able to get everybody, our community, back together. So
Right.
to see that healing start there
Yeah.
was really nice. It was really special, and those guys are forever in my heart for the support and the things that they did for us in our community. So
Yeah.
again, it was you have this just, oh my God, you're numb, and then you
Mhm.
start to have these. You go through the range of emotions.
Yeah.
Go through
Yeah.
the, okay, I'm numb to it. Is this real? Is it really happening? This really happened, to why you're upset, to
Yeah.
sad about it, and then all right.
Yeah.
It is
Those
what it is.
stages of grief. It's the stages of grief that you have to go through. Yeah. How
It was
about your
crazy.
kids? How are the students? Like, are you seeing any social emotional like stuff that
Well,
has carried
we
on?
did.
Yeah.
We increased our amount of mental health
Mm-hmm.
support here.
Mm-hmm.
We contracted through our county office for more mental health support. We utilize our school psychologists, clinicians.
Mm-hmm.
All for Youth is another program here in Fresno County that sends out clinicians and licensed therapists out to school sites. So we've increased that. Our school psychologist at the time, her name was Hillary Reed. She did a really good job of going out and like reaching out to the districts and the communities that we went through. So she
Mm.
reached out to Paradise. Hey, what's going on? How can we
Oh,
learn from
yeah.
them? And Paradise, God bless them. They, helped us with, recommending some programs. We went through a program, Mindful Littles, which is a social emotional curriculum program that we went through that was really supportive. We had students from Paradise supporting us, sending our
Wow.
kids letters and notes. Hey, a quilt. I mean, it was crazy. Just supportive
Wow.
notes and sticky notes,
And they
things
were
to,
only 2 years past prior to you
yeah,
guys, right? And they
yeah.
lost the entire town.
Like the
Wow.
school district. We were very fortunate. Like our
Yeah.
school didn't burn down, but man, I'm the Lord, He moved it
Yeah.
because when I had the fire chief out here, the fire chief, well, we walked the site and he's like, man, it's our playground's burnt down. Everything outside burnt down.
But not the
Our bus
school.
garage, not the school, bus garage, and every piece of rolling stock equipment, trucks, cars, buses, everything burnt down in that bus garage. But school didn't. And, in talking to the fire chief, he's like, it tried, but because we were very fortunate to be well designed and well built, the embers didn't have an opportunity to get anywhere.
Ah,
Like
praise God.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, we had planters up against buildings that burnt,
But not the building.
not the buildings. No building burnt.
Not a single building. Wow.
No, it's that bus garage, which God,
Yeah. That's
we made
divine. That's divine intervention. That's God
that's what we
looking
have
out
fun.
for. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean,
No doubt in my
yeah,
mind.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was because, and I think that had it burnt down, obviously this district doesn't recover.
Mm.
Small district, we'd probably just get absorbed into a larger district, which for
Yeah.
a Pine Ridge community would be sad because a lot
Yeah.
of people, I'm telling you, this is the hub of the community. Whenever we have an event, I got like tonight, we got our Halloween spooktacular going on tonight. And I
Mm.
can already hear since 9 o'clock this morning, I've had boosters and people on campus, helping to make the place look festive and like a Halloween spooktacular, like a carnival. So, it's
Hence
things
the
like
Cookie
that.
Monster T-shirt or the Cookie
Hence the
Monster
cookie.
shirt.
Yeah, hence the Cookie Monster T-shirt today. Yes, it's
I
pajama day, but I couldn't do that. I
Oh,
couldn't.
okay.
I didn't feel
There you
like.
go. Yeah, he's got a jacket on, but for those of you that are listening, as he was coming in, he has Cookie Monster was my favorite, my absolute favorite. I grew up
Yeah,
Sesame Street. Sesame Street was my
I'm
thing.
a Grover guy
Yeah. Oh,
personally.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, Cookie Monster was I love cookies anyway, but so he's wearing
Right?
this Cookie Monster shirt, and I was like, oh, I love Cookie Monster. So yeah, so that's awesome. That's
Yeah, no, we
awesome.
have. It's been really festive and fun on campus.
Yeah.
The kids are. One thing I will say, as we came back, what one of the things that we found was obviously triggering was we had to have fire drills. Well, the
Oh,
littles, that was hard. Yeah, it's hard for them.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're here so what we started to do was pre-planning when we go into the classrooms. Hey, we have the teachers talk to the kids about, all right, we're going to have a fire drill. Here's what it means.
Mm-hmm.
It's practice. There's no fires.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, you'd have little kid and, be triggered and we'd be sending, our mental health specialists to go sit and work with them. And something we really try to do, we really work to educate the whole child. We realize that if you're not well, you're not going to learn.
Right.
If you're not well, and that's what we've learned a lot is being more patient and understanding the whole child, and that it's academics aren't. Don't get me wrong, academics are important. If you can't
Yeah.
read, then life's
Yeah.
going to struggle.
Right.
However, if you don't feel like you can attack it, like you can get out and take on those daily
Mhm.
challenges, well, then what do you care about what two squared is?
Yeah, exactly.
We don't
Exactly.
check the kid. We learn that, obviously we know this as educators, and we really learned during that fire is that they don't check their trauma at the door.
No, they don't. No, they
They
don't.
don't.
Mm-mm.
But I'm telling you, it was super helpful that a number of our staff members, that sound bad. They also lost their home. So they
It's the
were able to
empathy.
help
Yeah.
the empathy, I'm telling you, yeah,
Yeah.
the ability to guide our kids through a
Mhm.
disaster
Yeah.
because 'cause they're living it too.
Mhm. Oh, yeah, for sure, and they
And
have
they,
their all of their emotions, and it's hard to check those at the door as an adult even, but
well,
when you can funnel it, yeah.
we looked for ways to make
Yeah.
sure that staff had outlets.
Yeah.
We Mindful Littles even had stuff for had
Adults.
wellness activities for our adults.
Awesome. Yeah. It's
All
important.
kinds of different things. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they're the ones leading it.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And still, you're dealing with it even 5 years later, but it seems like you're dealing with it well, which is the most important part. I've talked to I told you I talked to the one superintendent at Palisades that was a
Mhm.
charter school they lost in those
Yeah.
fires. And I've talked to a school outside of Kerrville that from the floods in Texas this
Mhm.
summer,
Yes.
and just it is amazing to me how schools are just so resilient when it comes to that, because it's such a critical, essential part of what makes a community is teaching the children of that community, and to have everybody rally around. And it always seems like the school gym or some places somewhere where everybody kind of comes together, to do something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, our gym is that. I'm telling you, this place is absolutely the hub,
Yeah.
because it's a small town. I mean, it's
Right.
small, but it's a geographically large area. But if you know anything about mountains, there's typically not one place.
No. Right.
Houses, communities, people are spread out. Like, it was crazy seeing where people lived after the fire because the trees were gone, so you could see home sites. You're like, I had no idea all those houses. It's
Right.
like
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
front door, you're watching. Like, I didn't know all those houses were up there. You just thought they were trees.
Right.
So it's really I'm telling you, the resilience of people just okay. This is what it is.
Mhm.
We all
Mhm.
wanted to be back at school. I'm telling you, once we got back to school, we have been for the last 4 years, 4.5 years. We really, every activity we do, we have amazing turnout. Last time we had grandparents' day, we had more grandparents than we had kids.
Yeah.
You
No
know,
kidding. Well,
we
that
did. We
kind
had
of
more.
makes sense. I mean, if you're talking about grandparents, you
Yeah, it
got 2
makes
sets of
sense,
them, but
but you don't expect that on a random Tuesday at 11 o'clock.
right, yeah,
We're very
inundated
fortunate.
by the what they my dad lived in South Texas, and they called them the
Mhm.
Q-tips because they had white shoes and white hair.
Yeah,
Yep,
we got a lot of
visited
those.
by them.
But it's fun. I mean, to have relationships with people that, went through this trauma
Mhm.
and to see how resilient they are. I mean, when Maui was burning, our kids were sending them
Yeah.
notes, raising money, and
Mhm.
sending them gift cards because
Mhm.
we knew what we went through. So anytime, you have a tragedy or anything out in the state, country, things like that, now our kids are really attuned to it. They're alert to it.
Yeah, yeah, because
And our
they
student council, they'll do things like they'll come up to their teacher and ask, "Hey, what can we do for these folks?
Mhm.
What can we do to help? We had someone help us. How can we
Mhm.
help others?"
Absolutely. What if every student could work with a therapist who brings not just credentials, but years of experience and wisdom to the table? At Lighthouse Therapy, most of our therapists have over 16 years of real world experience. We don't just fill seats. Instead, we find therapists who've seen it all and know how to help. And every new therapist is paired with a mentor to help them guide them every step of the way. Whether through virtual, hybrid, or in person delivery, your students are getting services that's thoughtful, experienced, and genuinely human. Visit lighthouse-therapy.com/brighter together to learn more. Yeah. A good friend of mine is a retired Coast Guard
Mhm.
rescue swimmer. He's amazing. He's an amazing man. And he, during Kerrville, he went over there to help because it just, it's water and floods, and, empathy, that empathetic piece of it, and just seeing him talk about it. And just, I love the fact that we as a society, it does not matter where you fall on any political issue. People are people and they love each other, and it matters.
And you said that, the political aspect. I'm not a political guy. I don't get involved
Mm-mm.
in any of that. But it's interesting to see when a tragedy happens or there's some sort of, event to a community. I saw people hanging out and at different luncheons we held that normally didn't hang out at
Yeah.
events because they have that, split, the division in thought. But here it was, no, there's no division in thought. We're one community
Pulled together.
and let's pull together I'm telling you, what are the things we can do? And they
So,
still have events now.
oh,
They'll
good.
still
Yeah. Well,
have like,
I mean, it's never going to end. Everybody's got an
well,
opinion, right? I mean, it's just like, it's like anything else. I won't say that old adage, but everybody's got one, right?
everybody's got one.
Everybody's got one. Yep. But what would you, if having been through something like this, having been through and knowing that there are other people that are going to hear this and have something in the future happen to them, what would you recommend? Like, how do you manage? What would you do the same? What would you different? Now I know it's never going to be parallel because you guys had COVID on top of it, but what kinds of things would you recommend to somebody because you've been there? Um,
First thing I would do is make sure that you do right by people. And what I mean
mhm.
by that is I spent a career of trying to do right by folks and by kids and all the, my number of different stops. And unknowingly, you build a community
Yeah.
of people. So first step is just do right. Be a good person, come to work every day, do right by, especially in schools, do right by children, and you're going to be surprised at people that help out.
Yeah.
So first thing, obviously that's just something you just have to do over your career is do
Yeah.
right by folks and build that community. And then, hey, don't be afraid. First thing is don't be afraid to reach out. Like I didn't know what to do. I called our
Mm.
county superintendent, Jim, what do I do? Like,
Mhm.
I want to cancel school. And then he talked me through it. No, we postpone. Here's what you should do. And then that was on a Sunday or Monday. Later that week, Tuesday because we had the holiday on Monday.
Oh,
But
right.
that
Yep.
was yeah. But on Tuesday, we unfortunately had to, I put the YouTube video out. That's how I communicated with folks. So I guess it's have a communication system built in.
Yeah. That makes sense.
We had YouTube, we have Parent Square, we have different methods. So we used all those different methods to reach out to parents. And then because we're a small school, it's a matter of, all right, let's start finding everybody.
Mhm.
Let's build that
Yeah.
community. Make sure you have built-in communication systems and then have good people with you. Because like I brought somebody in who my admin assistant at the time, her house burned down. I don't want to
Oh,
bother her. She had
yeah.
her own emotions and things that she needed to take care of with her children. So I found somebody who I worked with that did not lose anything in the fire. So we both of us, I was very fortunate not to lose I live in the valley, so I didn't lose my home in the fire, and
Mhm.
neither did your employee. And we just sat down and we started calling and figuring out where everybody was, started, working with the county and the state organizations. Cause what we wanted to do was gather information to get out to parents, to get out to our families.
Right.
Cause
Yeah.
in times like this, there was a lot of misinformation, a
Yeah.
lot of it, a lot. And unfortunately, it's not misinformation that people are malicious.
Right.
They just want to help, and we're excited to help. And this is what I heard. It's good information. I'm gonna push it out
Right.
rather
Right.
than checking the validity of it. So we did a lot of that. We'd go through and we check the validity of the information. Could we get it out? Start, working with obviously FEMA, Red Cross, all those different organizations.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, God, and then I'm just thinking back to what we did. We looked
Mhm.
for time to celebrate us together
Yeah.
because you still have to, you're still
Yeah.
alive. We were very fortunate. Nobody died. We did not lose
Praise
any
God.
lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah.
God bless our community that we did not lose anybody.
Yeah.
So, things are things. People
Yeah.
realize they can be replaced.
Yeah.
I
For
have some
sure.
teachers that lost everything and it'd be like, oh, I used to have, one of them had the greatest outlook. I used to have it. I used
Don't
to.
anymore? Not
Not
anymore?
anymore. And that's okay. Now we'll get another
Mhm.
one,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah. That changes your perspective. It really changes your perspective of
Because then I'm at
yeah,
home and I'm
yeah,
like, man, I can't find my belt. But I'm like, at
yeah,
least you have one, Steve.
yeah,
At least you can go
exactly,
grab it. You can
exactly.
find it.
Yeah, that's something that we live in a beautiful area in Corpus Christi, and I have always, not always, but as an adult, and the older I've gotten, the more I guess it's realizing your own mortality too, is like the things that I have are things, we have a beautiful house, we have a pool, we live on the canal, and so we always are inviting our young adults who don't have access to stuff like that at our church, come over, come play, come join come to the pool, come go fishing because my husband and I don't fish, and we have a fishing cleaning station and we don't fish, and there's a boat. So go out in the boat, and enjoy it because money gives you access. It really does. And,
Yes,
I
money is
just,
a fun coupon.
yeah, it is. But it isn't, you can't take it with you. You cannot take it with you. So why in the world would I not share? And there are a lot of people on the island that don't share, and I get that, and it's up to them. But for me, and I'm quote new money, so whatever, I don't care. I just
I
want,
understand that.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes, I get new money.
Yeah, you just and it's like it doesn't you cannot take it with you. I don't care what anybody says. If you're not a generous person, consider being one because if you have means, then, put it in the
I
bank.
believe
Put it in the
yeah,
bank in
yeah.
heaven because that's eternity. This is not. So,
I'm very karmactic that way. I've been very
yeah.
fortunate. I have 3 children. One's a sophomore in college, and one's a senior, and one's a senior and sophomore in high school. And I've been very fortunate to have really good people in their lives, so I don't have to worry. Or if I was concerned, I'd make one call. So I believe that's what I'm telling you. For me, the biggest thing in life is do right by people.
Yeah.
Everything else takes care of
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
So, just do right. I'm
Yeah.
not saying people aren't going to be upset with you at times
Oh, yeah.
or question your decisions, particularly in the positions we're in. But at the end of the day, if you can do right by a child, then
Yep.
everything takes care of itself.
Yeah, for
And I
sure.
think that's the important thing.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
in through any crisis, it's being good people
Yeah.
and understanding that all those, I guess, all those credits that you put in with people, all the
Yeah.
social credits, all the different things where you've helped people, they
You
show up
never
and help.
know when you're gonna have to cash those in. You never know. And
I was very
and
fortunate
yeah,
that,
and the fact that
you
you've
know,
done that and yeah, people love you and you do right by
You know,
them, they will be too.
even like Jim at the county office, he sent me people. So obviously when school was starting back up, he's like, just worry about that. He sent me a retired superintendent that he paid for to deal with all the rebuilding part, to deal with the contractors, to deal. So the day-to-day things that I didn't have time for.
Yeah.
And him and Mr. Berg and Mike and I worked really close together. And, this guy had a relationship with from 10 years ago from some little things that we did together. And she's like, all right, Steve, here we are. Well, let's get this done. Here,
Yeah.
give me a direction and let's go. And it was great. Even with education,
Yeah.
Jovino, our county soup, sent me another retired superintendent that I knew that she's like, all right, what are your academic needs? Tell me what
Mhm.
you need. And it was, let's go find your resources, recalling the CDE to give us, God bless them. They give us free computers, free
Yeah.
Chromebooks for all our kids.
Nice.
But it's just, I'm telling you, we were very fortunate to be in a place where, because of the relationships we have built and the agencies in place, we were able just to focus on getting our families and kids safe. And
Yeah.
all those other things that don't go away that we have to do, I had a support system to be able to take care of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's probably the biggest thing you got right there is that support system and putting money into that bank, putting social
People don't
into
understand
that
that,
bank.
the
Yeah.
importance
Yeah.
of doing things just to do them.
Just to
I've
be
never
a good person. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I never went
Yeah.
above and beyond with relationships because I'm like, you know what? In 15 years, I'm gonna need something. It was
Yeah.
because I care
Yeah.
about this person, and if I can add a little sunshine to your day just
Mhm.
because I did something kind, then okay, I feel good about that.
Yeah. That's what Brighter Together is. Brighter Together, this podcast, this is not something that I have to do. I don't have to do this. It's a beautiful thing and I love doing it. And it's a big part of my life right now and will be for a while, I think. But it is not something that I have to do. I mean, I don't have to talk to people all over the United States. I don't have to spend the time that I do and spend the money that we do. But we do it because it matters, because schools matter, because you matter, because the kids that you're serving matter. That's why we do it.
I'm
So,
glad you said the word serve
yeah.
because we serve.
Yeah.
People
Absolutely.
forget that in education, we serve, we are
Mhm.
servant leaders,
Yep.
but more importantly, and I tell my people, hey, our goal is to provide world-class customer service
Mhm.
because we still
Yeah.
provide a service to people. Remember, and the students and the parents are our clients,
Yep.
and we owe it to them. We owe it to them
Yep.
to provide them world-class customer service.
Amen.
I want you to leave every interaction with a good taste in your mouth, and that's
Yeah.
not always the case. But at
Yeah.
least I want to have enough relationships with families where they can come to me and say, "Hey, Steve, this happened. It didn't leave a good taste, and I don't think that's something that you'd be good with either." And I appreciate things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you take care of people, they will always, always, always. And there, we could go. I don't have time to go into all of it. I've told stories
We're
before
good.
about people that have done bad things and how it's not good. It's not good. But when you serve people, I always tell people we have two clients. We have our schools that we contract with and the therapists that we work with. but ultimately both of those entities come together for those students, and that's why we do what we do, is because we're serving
Yeah.
those kids. And that's what matters. And that gives me the chills, because that's what matters the most. We are educating the next generation, and that is the biggest bank that you can put money into and time into, because those kids need us, and that matters more than anything. So, but anyway,
People lose,
well,
yeah,
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
lose track of it, that
Yeah.
we are here to serve, and it is about relationships, and that, I mean, because think about it. If you have an important relationship with somebody, there are going to be times where you're going to get your wires crossed, or there may be
Mm-hmm.
miscommunication. And instead of the other person automatically going to the negative, they think, wait, I've dealt with this person 25 times. 24 of them, he's done right by me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe go check in on his
Yeah,
25th
what
just to
happened? What happened there? Instead of just, jumping to the bad conclusion that you did something crappy, let's figure out what happened and have an honest dialogue about
yeah.
it. And I wish our
But
country
that's
would do the
important. Not
same.
everybody's wanting to
No,
have that
no,
direct.
no.
One of the things we did that really helpful here is, it's getting off a little bit, but we did speed of trust training, and that really trains you to have direct, kind, and honest communication with each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's something that, again, I know I'll do a little plug for them, but if that's something in schools, anybody you could do as a staff, I think that's one of the most powerful things can do as a staff. Because think about it, I don't know if your background, but if you're in schools or you're a therapist, am I
Yeah, I'm a
correct?
therapist. Yeah, I'm a therapist.
So
Yeah, I've been.
you
Yeah,
understand that
yeah.
things not communicated or left unsaid over time develops and builds resentment.
Oh yeah. As a speech
And once you
therapist, especially, it's like if you don't, one of the things that we do here incredibly well is communication, and we hear it all the time because I am a speech therapist, and because I'm like,
yeah.
send me an email within 24 hours, 24 hours, one business day, you will get a contact back from Lighthouse Therapy, because that's who we are. I clean out my email every single day. If I don't have my email cleaned out, I don't feel like I've done my job. And it's funny because my marketing guy at the very beginning, he was like, well, I don't think you need to do that. And I said, no, 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 no. That's really important. And it really, and he's been with me for 7.5 years now. He's like, I was wrong. He's like, Janet, it's a part of what our culture is. And it's so incredible. And, it's like, even if we have people that are out of office, like, cause not all of our therapists work Monday through Friday. Some of them work Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and they're off on Tuesdays and Fridays. If you email them on Tuesday, you're going to get an out of office that says, hey, thanks for emailing me. I'm out of the office today, but I will get back to you right away tomorrow, because that way they know that they were heard, and it matters. It really matters. So, yeah.
And just a simple acknowledgement that you heard me.
Yes.
That's very big.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I am keeping you from your stuff, and it's been a great conversation. Steve, where do people go if they have a question about what you've done, or to learn more about Pine Ridge Elementary?
You can email me directly, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. My email is srosa, SROSA, at PRS Rattlers, so Pine Ridge School, rattlers.org. And if that's something you can put out, but I'd happy to speak to anybody. If you have any questions about, resilience and how do you develop resilience in school and different activities that we've done, as well as, if you just looking to improve mental health, because obviously someone who, as a young child, that's something I battled, my own mental. So to be able to be in schools and have opportunities to make kids not feel like I did. So, any chance for that, I can talk about how to make kids feel better about themselves and be in a position to be ready to learn. I'd love the opportunity. So,
awesome.
Thank you again, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, just keep it up. Keep it up, Steve.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Right.
And God bless you for this opportunity and the work that you and your therapist do. It's God's work. People underestimate it. But,
It is. Thanks. All right.